I was on my way to work and had come to a traffic light, and all of a sudden a car plowed into me. I was a little shaken up, felt a little weird. Police came, then later realized it changed, more than just that day. It impacted a lot more.
I remember she reached out and she said, I had this wreck and it caused me to actually hit a pole. I said, well, what are you going through? What are you feeling? And she told me that one of the injuries that she had sustained was her eyesight.
Ended up going to the emergency room because I was experiencing headaches and issues with my vision. A couple of weeks after that, the insurance company did contact me for pain and suffering and medical. They offered $1,000. And of course, my medical bills were way beyond that.
So when she got it checked out, it appeared that the medical term was posterior vitreous detachment, PVD. And it's just like a disturbance, a visual disturbance with your eyes. These floaters occur. And sometimes these floaters occur with just natural aging, and sometimes they're due to some type of trauma. And so when we got this record, we were able to see that because of this catalyst, she's going to have ongoing issues with her eyesight as she ages. And if it affects one eye, more likely than not. Actually, the words in the medical record was, there's a high likelihood that it's going to affect the other eye.
Somebody would propose to me, I'm going to whack you upside the head for $12,000, and for the next 2 months, you're going to have issues with your eye, where the vitreous jelly is going to pull away from the retinal lining of your eye. I wouldn't take $12,000 for that.
I would not.
In what world is that fair? That I'm going to whack you upside the head?
I would argue your evaluation, if you say that, would say $250,000, which I think in what world is that seem reasonable for that? I mean,
you can't take my eyesight for $250,000. You can't take it. All I need to do
you think
is blow that up. I'm going to blow that up in front of a jury with a big board, and I'm going to say, this is what was done. This is what was done. And Progressive is here asking for $12,000. But this is enough for the harm that their insured caused. $12,000.
If you think that that's worth $250,000,
it's not. There's no money that can do it. There's not. You can fill a steamship full of $100 bills, and I wouldn't let you do it.
I remember this case very clearly, where this lady started having visual disturbances 2 days after the wreck. Just 2 days. Never had visual disturbances in her life. Okay? But 2 days after the wreck, a medical record shows that she started having visual disturbances caused by the MVA, the motor vehicle accident 2 days ago. I actually wrote that, in our response to Progressive, and said, look, Progressive really has 3 arguments, okay? The visual disturbances occurred 2 days after the wreck was just coincidental, and the wreck did not in any way contribute to the retinal detachment. Second position is that our client had problems with her eye before the crash, since the retinal detachment occurs with normal aging, but never went to the eye doctor, and instead waited to be struck by a reckless driver in order to pin the retinal detachment on an innocent party. Third, that even if the retinal detachment was caused by your insured, then it's really not that bad, And really, it's $10,000 that they're proposing. $10,000 is reasonable to reimburse a person who has never asked whether they want any money for their eyesight to be affected. And we notified them that this is your last chance, and they actually listened, and we were able to resolve this case before a lawsuit was even filed. The initial offer from the insurance company is always going to be so much less than what your case is actually worth. And in this case, it's no different. She was just offered $1,000. Come on, we'll give you $1,000 for your pain and suffering. Just, I think that's a good bit of money. $1,000, that's a lot of money, right? Well, we were able to get 250 times that in order to resolve her case fairly. And there's no way any person who is not an attorney can get that type of result, that type of recovery, without knowing how to really negotiate with the insurance company, because some of the arguments they make, on the surface, it sounds legitimate, but in truth and in the medical records, they're not legitimate at all.
I would definitely recommend a Watts Law Firm to others that are in need of representation. They were very attentive, very thorough, very professional from beginning to end. They really are like family. They treat you like your family, and they go above and beyond.